Guys, welcome. Josh dialed in, building from zero, episode number 4. How is everyone doing? So what's going on? What is going on? What do I have to update you all about? Well, we're still in the process of playing catch up where I'm talking you guys through the stages in which I've taken to where I'm at now. We're not quite at that stage just yet where it literally is in real time, and I'll be coming on here and these stats will be really interesting and I can speak through the marketing and all that fun stuff. But right now, I'm just getting you guys up to speed as to where we're actually at. So episode number 1, I spoke about coming up with an idea of building a business. I didn't know what it was going to be called or anything like that, but of course, before any of that stuff, you always come up with an idea or have some sort of dream or whatever it is, which led into episode 2, which I spoke about coming up with the name or a name for business. Doesn't need to be perfect right away, but just something where you can start to write things down and you can title the notes on your phone. And yeah, so it's not important to come up with it's basically a project name, and it's just good to start writing down and start manifesting and bringing your dreams into reality. I feel like is quite an important stage after sort of ideation. And then episode number 3, we spoke about then thinking about how we was going to build a community and yeah, doing some market research into what is currently out there and what is feasible. Now, building a business from zero, what's important to remember is I can't just go out and say, "Oh, I really want to build this." I haven't got the resources to, number one, employ people, to go and spend on, I don't know, technology or whatever it is. So it's limited as to what I can actually build from the very start. As you can see, I've spent this much so far, maybe a little bit more now. I didn't update this because I've still got 9 subscribers. It's a little bit pointless at this stage of the process. But yeah, so when you're building something from zero, you don't have the luxury of being like Donald Trump and borrowing a small loan of $1 million from your dad. So you've got to be mindful as to that's why I think in the last episode, speaking about building a community and those sorts of things is actually vital if you are building something from scratch. Because social media is, you can put content out for free and you can start to get views, start to get clicks, and essentially it's marketing, free marketing. So when you do know what you're going to sell, you don't even need to know right away what it is you're going to do or sell. But once you do know what you are going to sell, then you've already built up a potential base of clients, I guess. So yeah, episode number 4, we're going to be speaking about, I'm going to leave because we spoke about knowing doing market research on sort of the field that I want to get into, which is health. So far, I haven't actually spent any money in this journey in the first 3 episodes. Coming up with an idea, obviously free. Coming up with a name, obviously free. And writing things down, free. Unless you have to go and buy a pen and paper, but come on. And then doing market research, all free. Now is when, so I'm in this stage before I've actually thought about building or buying any of this kind of stuff. So before I do that, there's some things that I need to do in the legal sense to ensure that everything's sort of done properly and by the book from the off. So those things include, here in the UK, becoming or registering, I should say, with HMRC as a self-employed individual. Um, so once I do start earning money, I can file my tax returns correctly. Um, the second thing is actually then getting a business bank account. And I think that's important to be able to differentiate between my personal funds, so what I spend at the weekend, um, going out for dinner, things that are literally personal and have nothing related to the business, and then having a business bank account. And I think it's good from a point of view of figuring out, or just being able to look back in time and work out exactly how much I've invested specifically for the business versus how much I spend. And it's important to sort of separate that. Um, Even though as a self-employed person, technically it's kind of a bit more it's married together more in terms of your personal spending and a business spending, because your life is essentially your business. It's not a separate entity, which is what a business is. Anyway, we don't need to get into the nitty gritties of that today. We will in future episodes, because there's a lot I can speak about in terms of the choices between being a self-employed person versus being a business, and therefore the tax, and then registering for VAT once you reach that threshold, etc., etc. There's a lot of minor details that play an important role, and you need to figure out at the start of your business journey, um, kind of how you organize things from the off. So yeah, legality. So figuring out what business bank I should use, and I ended up going with a bank called Starling. Um, so super easy. They're a neobank, which means that they don't actually have any physical store locations. They're purely online, but that works for me because I don't plan on using cash. And typically, I have found in the past that neobanks, because I also bank with Chase, have a better customer service because they're fully focused to online. So they're able to put more resources into online support. Um, and I find as well with neobanks that their actual technology, their user interface, the whole experience with using their products is way more seamless than typical high street banks. It feels more modern and it's easier to use. So yeah, I've signed up with Starling Business Bank, and I've also signed up for their business toolkit, which is £7 per month. And essentially that is um, like an accounting software. So as soon as I spend money or receive money, I can attach the receipt. I can label exactly what that the category of that um, purchase is, or money coming in, what that is. And then at the end of the year, it will then automatically calculate and therefore pay my taxes to HMRC, which I have to do being a self-employed person. And you need to make sure that you do things by the book, especially if you do plan to grow and scale a big business, because you don't want anything like minor to then come back and bite you on the arse, is what we say. So yeah, I've gone with Starlin. I've gone with the business toolkit. I'm organized whenever I spend money or receive money, which is easy to do at the moment because there's not much coming in or going out. But it's important to sort of stay on top of it as you do spend money or receive money. So when it does come around to paying your taxes, it's a seamless experience. Um, but yeah, look them up. Look up competitors. Um, just make sure that it fulfills the needs for what you want and what your business wants. And for me, it was all about sort of having a seamless, an easy experience, having a visually nice platform to use, and making my life as easy as possible. And £7 a month, I don't mind paying, to be honest. If I don't have to then go and pay for an accountant and it does it all automatically for me, then happy days. Um, and I guess probably a lot of people might not necessarily think about this kind of stuff when starting a business, but it's important. And as you grow and you have more money coming in, and maybe then decisions will be made differently, but and there'll be different factors that are more important to your business. But to begin with, just having a simple business bank account, um, debit. I'm not using any credit either for it, so it's all my money. And this is just getting it off the ground, and sort of, yeah. In the future, I might have to go to a more specialized service if it grows. But for now, at this stage, it doesn't need to be anything um, crazy or anything over the top, just something simple and easy for me to use. And so far, I've had a pretty good experience with Starling. I've not needed to contact them too much. The sign up, the registration maybe took a couple of weeks, but as soon as that was done, then I started to invest in this stuff. And as I said before, I wanted to have it separate from the start. So then when it did come to paying my taxes, um, everything that I've invested in, such as the equipment here, will be deducted from revenue, which means that then I pay less tax because um, my profits will obviously be less than if I'm not buying it on this card. And yeah, hope that makes sense. So that was we've spoken about registering with HMRC, building a or creating, I should say, a business bank account, and then the third main legal thing that I've done so far is registering the trademark of the name that I've come up with. So originally, I said the name was the Health Lab, and then I wasn't vibing with it, and eventually came up with HealthShift. We liked HealthShift because in the first episode, I spoke about an idea where I wanted to build something towards sort of busy people, working people, and that's sort of where shift came from. Health, obviously, that's an area in which I want to build something in, and I want it to be immediately obvious when someone comes onto a profile. Hence why I think having the word health is important. And then as a whole, health shift has connotations of going from uh, maybe from here to here. Your health is improving. Um, so yeah, I really like the name, and fortunately, it was pretty free on online. Basically, meaning managed to get good handles. Health shift underscore at the end. Um, we've got a good domain name, healthshiftnow.com. And yeah, I was happy with the name. So the next step before launching and doing a load of marketing was to protect that name and making sure that someone couldn't just come along and buy the trademark and then say, and then I received a cease, and then I would receive potentially a cease and desist email saying, uh, A, change your name, or B, we'll sell you this trademark for £10,000 or whatever it might be. I don't know. But for the amount it costs in the UK, which is not substantial, I think it cost me maybe between £300 and £400, which is included in this figure here. Um, it just now means so we're actually it's not fully approved just yet. Um, Within the next month, it should be. So the way that it works is you go online, you go through a portal on the government website, you apply for a trademark, and you have to choose certain classes. Um, Different classes represent different lines of business. So if you want to create, I don't know, like a physical gym, that would be a certain class. If you want to create a car company, that would be a certain class. So you have to make sure that you select the classes that you want to protect yourself in, which means that no one can come along and use that name in selling goods within that class, essentially. So I didn't just choose classes that I thought we'd be in now, also choose a few extra classes that I think we might grow into just to protect us for future growth, essentially. So I think for one class, it costs £170, and then every additional class is an extra £50 on top, which compared to other countries like the EU, compared to UAE, the UK is uh, actually quite a lot cheaper to get a trademark. So that works well for me. And yeah, so once you apply and pay the money, you get an initial review, and we pass the initial review. So now it's on a dispute. It's 2 month dispute period, which means that it's on a kind of public register, and there's loads of them on there. You can sort of see who's in this dispute period. Every single trademark has to go through this period, and if no one disputes it within 2 months, then you get the trademark, and the trademark lasts for 10 years, and then you essentially get first dibs on uh, extending it for another 10 years. Um, so yeah, it's past the initial review. We're now a month into the dispute period, haven't heard anything. So one more month, and then we have officially got the trademark, and then that's it. Then HealthShift is protected. No one else um, can use it in the classes that I have applied for, which is great, because then if I do a load of work and someone sees that I haven't got a trademark and then buys a trademark, and then the power's in their hands. So you always want to make sure that you just want to future proof and be thoughtful when you do things. Um, and especially in business, you want to make sure you have ownership. I think that's important. And not being reliant on other people so much in terms of um, owning assets, I guess. Um, so legal things, that's probably the majority of it for now. I'm still self-employed. As this grows, I will go from self-employment into actually creating a limited company. Um, but it's unnecessary right now at this moment. As soon as we grow and will see this number start to rise, then I will look into doing that. Um, especially if I need to employ people or things like that. But for now, whilst we're in this stage, it's simpler and easier if I keep it as a self-employed venture. And this is completely possible. The trademark's going to be in my name. Um, it's still it's still a business that I am running. The name that I'll be running it as is HealthShift, but I am the business, if that makes sense, as a self-employed person. Um, and yeah, it just makes things easier to get things off the ground. And once I want to expand and we start seeing customers come in, then at that stage, I will look to incorporate a business. So I think that's it for today. Um, if anyone's got any questions, please let me know. In the next episode, because now I've got my business bank account, I can speak about things that I've actually invested in. We spoke about the trademark, which is something that I've invested in, but we can speak about the physical goods and also things like technology, the website, buying a domain, hosting, things like that. So yes, right, almost 20 minutes. I'll let you guys get off. Have a great rest of your week, and I will catch up with you soon. Take care. Peace.